What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today I want to talk to you about Faraday Future. I want to give you an overview of some of the current data points, what's been coming out from the company itself, and go over everything else that you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that said, let's get right to it. Right now, Faraday is up 1.17%. Did have a nice spike to around 55 cents first thing. There was a couple different attributing factors to that, one of which was shorts, so I'm going to talk about that in a second. And secondly, it was market makers covering those options that did expire last Friday. So it kind of goes to show the magnitude of what options can do to the stock price. Last week was kind of chump change, if that makes sense, for options. This week is a very big week. Again, I'm going to talk all about that. Looking at volume, 24.7 million shares being traded, 343 is the average. So another day that essentially you're getting lower volume, which does mean that big money is still overlooking Faraday. And most likely that will continue to happen up until it either squeezes or they do put out some substantial pieces of operational news. Faraday management has been trying, I gotta give them that, but clearly not enough where institutions are willing to buy into Faraday. And there was no official news lately, so last news did come out on the 13th. So it's kind of just been piggybacking off of GameStop today, because they do actually have their shareholder meeting right now as I'm doing the video, and just the broader market is somewhat negative. So a lot of things are influencing Faraday, but one thing I just wanted to kind of show you, I have alluded to this in previous videos on how Faraday is starting to deviate from GameStop. So for the longest time, GameStop went up, Faraday went up. It always lagged. So for instance, if GameStop went up like, let's say 10%, Faraday would be 5. So it always did lag a little bit, but this is the 5-day chart between GameStop and Faraday, and it is starting to break out and kind of separate from GameStop. So once again, it could have some opportunity for Faraday to go up, and obviously leaving leaving GameStop kind of where it's at. No offense to GameStop or anything like that. I'm sure a lot of you are in GameStop as well, but this is a Faraday video, so I wanted to point this out because in my opinion, this is somewhat optimistic. But no matter what though, it still comes back down onto the point that in order for it to go up higher, you do need institutions to really support it. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. So I'm going to play this video near the tail end. So they did post this today, early morning, and it has to do with the news that came out on how its very first retail investor did collect their vehicle. So I think this is, again, a very good stuff. So I'm going to play this near the tail end of the video in case you guys have not seen it. And oddly enough, I don't know why a lot of people don't really follow YT on Twitter. Like, he doesn't get like any views. I don't know if maybe the translation isn't that good or whatever else, but I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on that. When it comes down to shorts, I'll give you an overview of everything. Right now, shorts are returning 3.46 million shares. 18.46% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 80.34 million shares overall are being shorted. Still on the threshold list, so you do see a lot of failure to delivers, and that is very apparent right here. But no matter what though, like this could run rampant, like 10 times the amount, it still comes back down onto the SEC. So it's very apparent that there's naked shorting and everything, but the SEC does need to do something. So even going back over here, for it to be on the threshold list consecutively, it looks like ever since it was May the 9th, I believe, or somewhere around there. Like, that is crazy. So I know I've brought this up in previous videos, so I highly recommend you guys going on to the SEC website, filing a complaint, kind of giving them a nice nudge and say, hey, you know what? You should do something. Like, I don't know. Obviously, you guys would do whatever floats your boat, but definitely if the SEC doesn't do something, then shorts are just going to continue to kind of rinse and repeat, right? Cost to borrow average is 12%, so it's kind of in line with the average of what it has been. Just wanted to draw your attention to this as well. So I've started to really analyze the overall short volume and what percentage that makes up for the day, how the actual day did turn out. So for instance, on Friday, I don't think it's any coincidence that it did have a nice push higher and it was able to close above 50 cents without any real crazy resistance. And conveniently that day you did have quieter abnormal activity coming from shorts. Only 43.3% of the overall volume that day was shorts. On a typical day though, it's like 60%, between 50 to like 65%. Crazy stuff. So like I said, this goes back down to my point that you really do need institutions to really say, fuck you shorts, and we're going to buy it and cause the stock price to go up. That's not going to happen until Faraday itself puts out some news. So like I said, it's one of those kind of circles, right? You need institutions. Institutions need a catalyst, and that catalyst, in order for that to come up and come to fruition, you need management. So you need a full-on cycle, and plus you need retail to keep on buying, right? So it's kind of a very fun cycle, and right now management is trying their very best, but I feel like there would be one very good thing that they could put out, and I've already done a dedicated video all about this, and that is them just saying, hey, you know what, we have all this share intel information, and now we're going to go against whoever is shorting or whatever they found and sue them for obviously malicious activity and whatever else. A lot of companies have actually launched many of these lawsuits of similar nature, so I think that might be the next big thing for Faraday. But aside from all of that fun stuff, moving on, looking at the open interest for options for this week, 24,000 at that 50-cent strike price, 53,000 at the $1 strike price, 29 at the $1.50. So if Faraday, for whatever reason, whether it be a catalyst on the broader market or potentially Faraday itself, then if it is able to get above $1, then this is where you'll see a very nice bump up in the price. Because just to put it in perspective, as you can kind of see the open interest as of June the 14th, so last Friday, very small options activity. And thus, it still caused a nice little bump up. I think it was a little bit higher than that initially, probably like, I think, was it 15,000 or something like that. So that results in 1.5 million for buying. So this week is a very big week for options. Thus we'll turn to kind of gamma squeeze, and it's just a fine line between the gamma squeeze converting it into a short squeeze. So I don't know, it's a very interesting stock. I think in reality you need all the dominoes to line up very much perfectly for it to continue to run up, and one of the big pieces is management. I brought this up time and time again in every video. You need management. So whether you guys go to Twitter, kind of comment on YT and just say, hey, you know what, let's do an interview, or can you provide more context on this? Because he does seem to be a little bit more active than Faraday's official Twitter page, or X, whatever the hell you call it. So I think there's a lot of opportunity that news can get out there. And I think based on what's been happening coming from management, they are very aware that they play a big role in this. This is why they've started to actually do some stuff. So I don't know, let me know your thoughts on all of that in the comments below. Looking at this right here, I know take this with a grain of salt, some support and resistance points, but with it at 50 cents, just watch for 48 to hold. So that's going to be the next strong support. Below that is 44 and then 38. Aside from that, 54 and then 61 is going to be the next strong resistance slash targets. So you know what, cautiously optimistic when it comes down to Faraday. Their balance sheet though, mind you, just for full transparency, isn't the best. This is how they kind of got into the predicament that they are in, or I guess were in. So definitely tread cautiously. You guys do your own due diligence at the end of the day. So I just wanted to quickly play this one video. I do feel like a lot of people could get a lot of good information out of it. Once again, it's not in English, so you do have to read the subtitles. But overall, let me know your thoughts on Faraday. Give yourself a shout out if you have been buying, if you've been selling. What have you been doing with Faraday? And yeah, with all that, I appreciate all of you guys watching.
The FF91 2.0 to our first retail investor user. It also marks the start of delivery phase 2, which is a very important step for FF.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. It's a turning point for us.
𝗖𝗪𝗧𝗏 is the COO of the US branch of Mr. 𝗪𝗧𝗛's business, and he represents Mr. 𝗪 today. Global CEO Matthias Eidt is in UAE currently to find strategic funding. YT will be handing you over the car today.
今天也非常感谢Tiger 能够代表何先生来提这辆 P12，表示了大量的这个投资者对我们的信任和关注。
也很荣幸能够见到您以及我们如此优秀的 FF 团队。今天也是我第一次有幸近距离来体验我们 FF 优雅的设计以及良好的性能和科技产品。刚才和我们的同事交流，也听说我们接下来下一步会发布中美汽车桥梁战略计划。我听说在这一步计划里面，会将我今天见到的科技含量赋能到下一代大量生产的车辆。我相信，在未来的话，像更多的汽车爱好者，尤其是EV汽车的爱好者，将能够像我今天一样见到如此优秀的产品。
专门针对大众放量的市场，会推出这个极致体价比的产品，对大量的支持 FF 的2级市场的散户投资者，很多人买不起我们的 FF91。但是我们希望我们的科技能够让更大的用户群体能够体验到最为先进的这种产品和技术啊。何先生和 Tiger 都是金融专业人士，都是整个资本市场非常顶级的大牛。其实 FF91当中有个非常好的 AI 互联网应用的功能啊，我们其实可以在车内实时的享受到大量的金融资讯、财经资讯，甚至在车内就可以完成大量的2级市场的交易。
OK，
而且能够有大量的这种实时的 AI 的数据，对客户最为有用的信息，能够非常好的推荐给不同的人群。好，那我们就准备正式揭幕这个 P12。谢谢泰哥今天的到来。
谢谢 YT。
Are you ready? OK。我先把车门打开。好嘞。
我们作为粉丝，贾总能不能在我们这个限量版的车上签个字？
好的，没问题，没问题。
好，谢谢。
OK，Thank you， 泰哥，谢谢 ，Thank you。好。
Well, Tiger, I'm really excited to introduce you to this car. It's amazing, and I want to start with the fun stuff. So we're going to go ahead and open this door and let you know what we got here. Your first time in there?
Yeah.
Awesome. Very exciting.
Wow.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and step on the other side here.
Okay.
We have all the major leagues, MLB, NHL, NFL, NBA. Go through just a moment. There's 11 displays in this vehicle. Even the rear view mirror is a display.
这个名字是叫 AI 炮，是伙伴的意思。所以我们希望对借助这 AI 的这个能力，为我们金融师提供一个在车内的一个工作上的这个伙伴。
Congratulations. That looks like a great car.
Yeah, it's quite a. I don't know if you can tell, but it's a pretty spacious, very nice looking car.
It does look spacious. It does. It's like a sports car and a luxury car all in one.
Thank you, Bernie.
Thank you.
See you.
Good luck with the test drive.
Okay, see you home.
Okay.